Welcome, everyone. Today we are talking about 8 powerful behaviors that make toxic people lose control. Not everyone in our life wants to see us grow. Some people feel uncomfortable when we become calm, focused, confident, and successful. These people are called toxic people. Toxic people do not lose control when we argue with them. They lose control when we stop reacting. When we protect our peace and grow silently, silence confuses them. Boundaries scare them. Peace irritates them. Toxic people want drama. They want reactions. They want emotional control over us. But the moment we change our behavior, their power begins to disappear. In this video, you will learn 8 simple but powerful behaviors that protect your peace and naturally make toxic people lose control without fighting, without explaining, and without lowering yourself. This lesson is not about hate. It is about self-respect. It is about mental strength. It is about quiet growth. If you are tired of negativity, if you want peace, and if you want to grow silently, this lesson is for you. Let's begin. Behavior 1. Stop reacting emotionally. This is the number one behavior that makes toxic people lose control. Toxic people feed on reactions. They want to see your anger, your frustration, your sadness, your emotional response. When you react emotionally, they feel powerful. But when you stop reacting, they feel helpless. Why do toxic people want reactions? Because toxic people are insecure inside. They feel strong only when they control others. They provoke, criticize, and disrespect not because you are weak, but because they want attention. Your reaction is their reward. An emotional reaction gives them power. When you react, they know they touched a nerve. They feel important. They feel in control. Even anger gives them satisfaction. Toxic people do not care whether the reaction is positive or negative. They only want a reaction. Silence is confusing for toxic people. When you stop reacting, they do not know what to do. They feel ignored. They feel powerless. Silence removes their control. You do not need to explain. You do not need to argue. You do not need to prove anything. Silence is strength. Calmness is a form of power. Remaining calm is not weakness, it is emotional maturity. When toxic people try to trigger you and you stay calm, they feel exposed. Your calm mind reflects their inner chaos, and that makes them uncomfortable. You are not responsible for their emotions. Toxic people often say, "You changed. You are cold. You are rude." No. You simply stopped reacting. You are not responsible for managing someone else's emotions. Protecting your peace is not selfish. Simple real-life example. Person A reacts to insults. Arguments increase. Stress increases. Person B stays silent and calm. Drama ends. Peace returns. Same situation, different power. How to practice this behavior daily? When someone tries to provoke you, pause, breathe, stay silent. Respond later or not at all. You do not need to win arguments. You need to protect your peace. What happens when you stop reacting? Toxic people lose interest, lose control, and look for someone else. You gain peace, confidence, and emotional strength. You win without fighting. The moment you stop reacting emotionally, toxic people lose their power over you. Calm is control. Silence is strength. Protect your peace. Behavior 2. Set clear boundaries without explanation. This behavior makes toxic people very uncomfortable. Toxic people hate boundaries because boundaries remove their access to you. When you set boundaries, you take back control of your life. What are boundaries? Boundaries are limits. They decide what behavior you accept, what behavior you ignore, and what behavior you walk away from. Boundaries protect your time, your energy, and your peace. Mentally strong people have boundaries. Toxic people do not respect them. Why do toxic people hate boundaries? Toxic people want unlimited access. They want to talk when they want, disrespect when they want, and control when they want. Boundaries stop this. When you say no, they feel rejected. When you limit access, they feel powerless. That loss of control makes them angry. You do not need to explain your boundaries. This is very important. Toxic people use explanations against you. The more you explain, the more they argue, the more they manipulate, and the more they cross limits. Mentally strong people set boundaries quietly. They do not justify. They do not debate. They do not defend. They simply act. Boundaries are shown through actions. You do not need long speeches. Boundaries look like leaving the conversation, not replying immediately saying, "I'm not available," and reducing contact. Actions are clearer than words. Silence plus consistency equals a strong boundary. Toxic people will test your boundaries. When you first set boundaries, toxic people may get angry, act confused, blame you, or call you selfish. This is normal. They are testing whether you will break. Stay consistent. Boundaries only work when they are respected every time. Setting boundaries is self-respect. Boundaries are not rude. They are healthy. You are not pushing people away. You are protecting yourself. People who respect you will respect your boundaries. People who don't reveal themselves. Simple real-life example. Person A explains everything. Arguments continue. Stress increases. Person B limits access and stops explaining. Peace returns. Same people, different boundaries. How to practice this behavior daily? Start small. Say no without guilt. Reduce unnecessary conversations. Walk away from disrespect. Choose peace over winning. You teach people how to treat you. What happens when you set boundaries? Toxic people lose control and feel exposed. They get frustrated. You gain peace, confidence, and emotional safety. This is quiet power. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They protect your peace and remove toxic influence. When you stop explaining your limits, toxic people lose control. Behavior 3. Stop sharing your plans and progress. This behavior makes toxic people very uncomfortable because it removes their ability to interfere. Toxic people want information. Information gives them power. When you stop sharing your plans and progress, they lose control. Why do toxic people want to know your plans? Toxic people ask questions like, "What are you doing these days? What is your next plan? How is your work going?" These questions may sound normal, but their intention is not always good. They want to judge your plans, compare themselves with you, create doubt, discourage you, and talk behind your back. Information becomes a weapon. Sharing too much invites negativity. When you share plans too early, people give unwanted opinions. People plant doubt. People laugh or discourage. People secretly compete. Even small negative comments can weaken motivation. Focused people protect their vision. Silent progress is powerful. Growing silently is strength. When you work quietly, no one distracts you. No one demotivates you. No one interferes. Your energy stays clean. Toxic people hate silent progress because they cannot control it. Toxic people feel threatened by your growth. Your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Instead of improving themselves, they try to pull you down. They may mock your goals, minimize your effort, or pretend not to care. Silence protects you from this behavior. You do not owe anyone your dreams. Your goals are personal. Your journey is personal. You do not need permission. You do not need validation. You do not need approval. Mentally strong people share results, not plans, and even results are shared selectively. Action speaks louder than announcements. Let your success speak. Let people see results, not hear promises. Silence builds focus. Focus builds results. Results end conversations. Simple real-life example. Person A shares every plan, receives opinions and doubt, and loses motivation. Person B works quietly, stays focused, and achieves results. Same effort, different protection. How to practice this behavior daily? Keep your goals private. Share only with trusted people. Avoid explaining your journey. Let action speak. Not everyone deserves access to your life. What happens when you stop sharing? Toxic people feel disconnected, lose influence, and get confused. You gain mental clarity, strong focus, and peaceful growth. Silence becomes your shield. Move in silence. Grow quietly. Win privately. When you stop sharing your plans and progress, toxic people lose control and you gain power. Behavior 4. Stop explaining yourself. This behavior makes toxic people lose control fast. Toxic people love explanations. Explanations give them something to attack, twist, and manipulate. When you stop explaining yourself, their power disappears. Why do toxic people demand explanations? Toxic people often ask, "Why did you do this? Why are you acting like this?" Explain yourself. These questions are not always about understanding. They are about control. They want to judge your choices, prove you wrong, make you feel guilty, and put you on the defensive. Explanations give them that chance. You do not owe everyone an explanation. This is very important. You do not owe explanations for protecting your peace, setting boundaries, choosing silence, changing priorities, or walking away from disrespect. Mentally strong people understand this. They explain only to people who respect them. Explaining too much is a sign of self-doubt. When you explain again and again, you seek approval. You invite arguments. You lose confidence. Toxic people notice this weakness. The more you explain, the more they push. Silence ends the cycle. Short answers are powerful. You do not need long speeches. Strong responses are simple. "I'm not comfortable with that. This works for me. I've decided already. I'm not discussing this." No anger, no emotion, no extra words. Calm and firm. Toxic people will try to guilt you. When you stop explaining, toxic people may say, "You changed. You are rude. You think you are better now." These are control tactics. Do not fall for them. Your growth will always offend people who benefited from your silence before. Stop explaining. Start living. Every explanation takes energy. That energy is better used on growth. Mentally strong people save their energy. They choose peace. They focus on their goals. They let others think whatever they want. Peace is more valuable than being understood. Simple real-life example. Person A explains everything. Arguments never end. Person B gives short answers. Drama stops. Same people, different power. How to practice this behavior daily. Pause before responding. Speak less, not more. Avoid emotional justification. Walk away if needed. Your calm silence is enough. What happens when you stop explaining? Toxic people lose leverage, feel frustrated, and stop engaging. You gain confidence, mental peace, and emotional strength. You stay in control. You do not need to explain your healing. You do not need to explain your growth. When you stop explaining yourself, toxic people lose control, and your peace grows stronger. Behavior 5. Become emotionally unavailable to drama. This behavior completely breaks toxic control. Toxic people survive on drama. They need chaos. They need emotional reactions. When you become emotionally unavailable to drama, they lose interest and lose control. What does emotionally unavailable mean? It does not mean being cold or heartless. It means you do not react emotionally. You do not engage in arguments. You do not absorb negativity. You do not entertain drama. You stay calm. You stay neutral. You stay detached. This is emotional maturity. Why do toxic people create drama? Drama gives them attention, control, and emotional satisfaction. They create problems out of nothing. They exaggerate small issues. They pull others into emotional chaos. If you participate, they win. If you stay calm, they lose. Drama is a trap. Drama looks urgent, but it is rarely important. Toxic people want you to get angry, defend yourself, take sides, and feel guilty. Once emotions rise, logic disappears. Mentally strong people refuse this trap. Calmness disarms toxic people. When you stay calm during drama, they feel confused. They feel ignored. They feel powerless. Your calm energy exposes their instability. They expect emotional chaos. You give silence and peace. That contrast makes them uncomfortable. Do not explain, defend, or prove. Drama feeds on explanations. Mentally strong people do not defend, justify, or prove. They respond with short, neutral answers or not at all. No emotion equals no fuel. Emotional detachment is self-protection. Detaching emotionally does not mean you do not care. It means you care about your peace more. You choose mental safety, emotional balance, and inner calm. This choice is strength. Simple real-life example. Person A reacts emotionally. Drama grows. Stress increases.